welcome to the Webcast for Tuesday, October 8th. I'm South Ops meteorologist Jonathan O'Brien. Visible satellite this morning is quite similar to yesterday morning. The marine layer remains shallow today, no more than 1,000 feet deep, with low clouds and fog showing very little expansion versus yesterday. We also have a good deal of mid and high-level clouds once again, especially across the Sierra, as we deal with some lingering subtropical moisture over the region. Today will continue to have similarities to yesterday. One piece of good news, however, is that the worst of the heat is over. Here's a look at today's forecast highs, and make no mistake, they are still quite toasty, especially for what is now the second week of October. But they're a few degrees cooler than yesterday, and most of the excessive heat warnings and heat advisories have been allowed to expire. Still, it will be another summer-like day. And as you saw, we still have that subtropical moisture over us as well. That's what's been bringing us the higher level cloudiness, the widespread afternoon cumulus buildups, and even a few showers and thunderstorms. And it's going to be another repeat performance today. We'll see cumulus buildups near most of the mountains, and isolated showers and thunderstorms are possible once again this afternoon and evening, mainly east of the Sierra Crest. We did see some activity yesterday, but it was not impressive by any means, with only 9 lightning strikes recorded, all of which occurred over the Sequoia National Forest. Today will likely be a similarly low number of strikes. There is a very weak and dry Pacific trough passing overhead of us today. It's not much, but it's enough to weaken and push eastward that big ridge of high pressure that's been keeping us so hot of late. As we go through the rest of this week, that big ridge will still hold its ground over the desert southwest, and that's going to keep us on the warm side through the end of this week. However, by this weekend, a slightly stronger Pacific trough will come in and give that ridge another kick, and that will help bring us some more meaningful relief in the temperature department this weekend. You saw earlier the forecast highs for today, and it's going to remain close to that warm through Friday. Most areas will just see another 2 to 4 degrees of slow cooling the next few days. But as that next trough pushes in this weekend, we'll get some real relief, and here's a look at the forecast highs by Sunday. By then, valley highs will only be in the upper 70s to mid-80s, right around, if not a little below average for this time of year, and a welcome change from the recent pattern. Minimum humidity will be mainly in the 12 to 25% range through Friday, except for single digits in many desert areas and higher values within the marine influence. Today's forecast minimums are shown here. Minimum humidity will increase to 20 to 40% starting Saturday as we cool off further and the marine layer also deepens. There will remain some areas of poor recoveries in the deserts and some mid and upper slopes through Thursday or Friday night. By this weekend, however, recoveries will also be mostly good away from the deserts. Winds will continue to remain fairly light through the period. As that next trough approaches, some occasional southwest to west winds of 15 to 25 miles per hour, with gusts to 40 miles per hour, are possible across the mountain ridges and desert passes from Thursday afternoon through this weekend. There are no notable offshore wind influences expected over the next 7 days. And finally, there is just a slight chance of rain showers, mainly north of a Monterey-Fresno County line this weekend as that trough moves in. Meaningful rainfall is not expected, and we may not see anything at all, but it will add to the overall theme of a more benign weather pattern. Fuel conditions across the region remain exceptional for October. All classes of dead fuels away from the marine influence are critically dry, and many live fuel types are critically dry as well. We do have some good news on the way, especially by this weekend. The cooling temperatures and increasing RH will lead to some notable increases in dead fuel moisture, especially in a lot of the finer dead fuels. ERCs will also start to back downwards from their extreme values of early this week. But it's still remarkable to look at this graph of 100-hour dead fuel moisture for the region as a whole. We are way below where we should be even for the peak of fire season, and essentially right at the driest levels on record across the region. Even as we start to see some substantial increases this weekend, we still will remain near record dry for this time of year. So while there is some cause for optimism in the forecast, it remains important to keep in mind just how dry things are, especially over the next few days. The warm, dry weather and very dry fuels will continue to bring elevated potential for large fire activity through Friday, though the light winds will remain a limiting factor as they have been. By this weekend, the large fire threat should become rather low as temperatures continue to cool and RH increases further, which will drive those fuel moisture increases, especially in the 1 and 10-hour fuels. With still no significant offshore winds in sight, there's not a lot of fire weather concerns right now, but background fire danger remains notably elevated. Expect light initial attack activity to continue through the forecast period. That's it for today's webcast. Thanks for joining us. The next one will be on Wednesday, October 9th.